Hey guys, I'm Coach Dave, and I'm here to dive a little bit into how to train better. Nowadays, a lot of people like the HIIT style training, boot camp, CrossFit, whatever you might be doing, that high intensity training where you're doing a little bit of cardio, getting your heart rate up, and then doing some burpees, some squats, lifting some weight. And that is a great program, depending on how it's taught. And there's good and bad to every aspect, whether it's a boot camp or a CrossFit gym. Some of them get bad stigma, but I kind of want to go over what the premise behind it is and how to get you to understand what you're trying to do when you do these programs. Okay. One thing I always say is, the boot camp style training is great. Sometimes they miss the mark on teaching you proper mechanics. With CrossFit, sometimes we teach proper mechanics and people tend to go off the rails and go too fast and not work on the mechanics. Whatever program you choose, what's most important is the mechanics. Okay, mechanics is number one, and you need to be able to do them well before any of the threshold training that I'm going to talk about will work. You can't just dive in and think you're going to go fast and get good results. You're going to wind up hurting yourself. So I always tell people, slow in the beginning and then work on your mechanics, and then we can get into higher intensities and threshold training. So just to break it down, threshold training is where you are kind of going fast and basically sub-maximal of where you would be really kind of losing your technique or your form. So I got a couple graphs that I kind of want to show, your graphs, targets. One of the way I like to explain this to a lot of people and the members of my gym is through both of these, right? So if you have three targets that you're looking at, if you are shooting at targets and you are this first one way outside the lines, kind of off the target, you're going too fast, okay? This is too fast. This is where your mechanics are failing. If you're going here and your mechanics are absolutely perfect, you're going a little too slow. You're not going to get that cardiovascular effect that you want. What you're looking at is that sweet spot where you're getting most of them on the targets. Maybe one will kind of be off, where your form is a little off, and you realize that, and then you have to correct it. And that is kind of what people miss, especially in CrossFit. With CrossFit, people tend to want to just go fast. They worry about the clock and the time. But it is a blend of moving well and going fast. Okay, I always tell people the best way to explain this is it is bodybuilding with fast movement, right? So we want to make sure that we get full contraction of the muscles. We want to make sure that we finish the movement and get the most benefit out of it. And with that, move as fast as possible. Okay, so as I tell people, if you're doing a deadlift and we come down and we come up, right? This, yeah, you can say I'm standing with a deadlift. But what we really want to focus on is at the top, squeeze that butt, pull the shoulder blades back, and actually use the back of the shoulders, use the glutes as you come up. It's not just come down, lift the bar to here because the bar came up, go back down. We need to focus on mechanics. All the way up, squeeze, all the way back down. Now with that, this is where you want to go as fast as you can with maintaining proper form. So that's where we come to this second kind of graph that I drew, where you have one arrow that is your intensity going up, another arrow with your intensity going, your mechanics go down. As your intensity gets faster, you are going to lose mechanics, okay? If you're over here where you're going super slow and everything is absolutely perfect, you might want to start moving a little faster, okay? Now, in the beginning, you're going to see, even if people move slow, you are going to have mechanics that you need to work on. And as I said, this is only for people that have those mechanics. Once you have them, you can start moving faster. Now, if you go too fast, you're really going to start going off the rails and your form's going to kind of pay for it, okay? With that said, you want this sweet spot, right? The sweet spot where you're taking a little bit of effort to control the body. Okay, so you're going fast enough that you have to work to keep your technique, because working and controlling that technique is really what gets you the results. That is the secret sauce of getting the most out of HIIT training, boot camp training, and CrossFit training. All those high intensity programs, right? If you're got a coach that lets you squat and you're not learning proper squats where you're only squatting to this, right? You're not getting the full use of the glutes, right? We need to get you all the way down and all the way up. Now, we can't do that with intensity, so that's where you go slower, you work on your technique. Don't worry about going fast, don't worry about rushing through the movements. But as you get better at this, then you will start to move faster, okay? Now, if you start seeing yourself or feeling yourself not hit those proper mechanics, this is where you should slow back down, get the mechanics, and then speed back up, right? So it's really kind of finding that range where you're struggling to keep your mechanics, but you can keep them. That is the key. The key is you can keep your mechanics, right? Out of 10 reps, maybe 1 or 2 is slightly off, but you realize that, you slow down, you correct it, and you get back on pace. But that is what threshold training is. It's not just going out there, going as fast as you can, as hard as you can, worrying about a good time. That's kind of where people get lost in CrossFit. They worry about the clock more than they worry about what their mechanics are. And we're always taught is mechanics are first, consistency is second. So you want consistency in your movements, meaning you can move well for multiple reps. Once you can do that, and only when you can do that, do you want to add intensity, okay? And then that intensity is not maximal intensity. We're not looking for max intensity, we're looking for high intensity. So a high intensity workout where you can maintain proper mechanics is what you want all around the board, right? Whether it's, as I said, some HIIT style training, boot camp training, CrossFit training, it all comes down to moving better. All right, guys, stay strong, stay fit, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.